voice notes tutorials. I'm Roshni and today we are going to continue with the story The Brothers Karamazov. So in our last video we have talked about all the character list one by one, and it is very important to understand each and every member of the novel in order to understand the story in a proper way. At the same time, we have to understand the background of the story in order to clear the message, true message of the story. So till now what we have done, we have read the theme of the story, then we have talked about the characters. Let's move to the summary now. Dear friends, before we start our class today, let me announce that we have prepared free courses on different examinations. Here you can click on the link which is given in the description box and then you can prepare for the examination. In our last video, we have talked about all the character list one by one, and it is very important to understand each and every member of the novel in order to understand the story in a proper way. At the same time, we have to understand the background of the story in order to clear the message, true message of the story. So till now what we have done, we have read the theme of the story, then we have talked about the characters. Let's move to the summary now. Dear friends, before we start our class today, let me announce that we have prepared free courses on different examinations. Here you can click on the link which is given in the description box and then you can prepare for the examination for further. So let's begin today's class, and I keep on telling you that you should be doing the revision work on everyday basis. Please continue doing that because without practice we will not be able to give our examination in a better way. So be sincere to your work. The topic is The Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky. So this is a Russian novel and character list is already done. Let's move to the summary directly. Summary of the novel. Fyodor Pavlovich Karamazov was a young, handsome man but coarse, vulgar and a womanizer. Fyodor is the father of the family, father of the Karamazov family, and even though he has reached to old age, he is young. Okay, he is very handsome and he looks very attractive, and this is because he is very rich and he has time to take care of himself. He takes good food and he has no responsibilities at all. Therefore, he has got time to smarten himself, and here we find him to be very young, handsome. But when we talk about his behavior, it is very rough. He is very coarse person, very impolite, okay, and he believes that money can buy everything for him. Therefore, he is indulged into vulgarity. He is a vulgar man who talks vulgar stories to his own son. Okay, not only that, he criticizes women and he is not in favor of promoting peace and love. Alright, he thinks that money will buy everything for him, and therefore there is no point in respecting all these aspects of human life. Okay, and another thing is that another demerit of Fyodor Pavlovich Karamazov is that he is a womanizer. Womanizer means the one who is lustful, okay, who wants women for use, in simple words. Let's move to the next point. He has 2 wives and 3 sons. Actually it is 4, but one more is not included because he is not a legal child. I'll tell you about that also. For now, you just remember 3 sons of Fyodor. First child is Dmitri, and he is from first wife. Ivan and Alyosha, they are from second wife. And Fyodor Pavlovich was an irresponsible father. Now, why he was irresponsible father? The reasons are many. Okay, it is because he did not take care of his child in rearing them, in their development, in their growth. He was not providing good parenting to them. He was not at all ready to take the responsibility of his children. Therefore, he is an irresponsible father. Next, he wants them to be brought up by relatives and friends. As I told you that he did not want to take the responsibility, so that responsibility passed on to sometimes relatives, sometimes friends, and sometimes servants as well. Alright, servants and maids as well. Next point is Dmitri Karamazov. Dmitri Karamazov, Dmitri is the eldest son of Fyodor, remember this, is a 28-year-old soldier. 28-year-old soldier. He has returned home to claim his inheritance of property. Now, Fyodor had a lot of money which he had inherited from his parents. So, Dmitri had asked to claim his portion of property. Okay, so whatever Fyodor inherited, whatever father of Dmitri had received from his ancestors, he wanted some portion in that. And for that, he had left his job and he had come to Fyodor or his father's place. This father and son's duel or fight shows that in Russia, money was very prime at that point of time. There were hardly any people who used to give importance to moral values, discipline, and then becoming something in their life. Okay, so everybody ran after money and we find no mannerism in them. And this is the case of father, that is Fyodor, and son Dmitri. The two men quarrel over the money. The money was the main reason for the fight. And intellectual Ivan calms the duel. Now, when Ivan sees father and his brother fighting with each other verbally, he wanted to calm the situation. In order to do that, he went to them and then tried to show all the aspects of religion, and that is why he wanted to calm them. The kind, faithful Alyosha, 20 years of age, who lives in the town. Now see, Alyosha or Alexei, that is the main character or protagonist. Alright, protagonist of the story. Alyosha is the third child, okay, who is very religious, who is studying under the governance of Joshima, who is the religious priest. So, here we find only Alyosha is selfless. He is just of 20 years, but he is emotionally very much matured. Even he lives in town. Even he lives in father's town. Let's move to the next point. He is an apprentice or a trainee or the student at the monastery studying with the renowned elder Joshima. Joshima is already a teacher in monastery. Okay, under his guidance, Alyosha was taking the lessons. Okay, Joshima is a very enthusiastic teacher, and therefore he wanted to teach his apprentice, that is Alexei or Alyosha in a very meticulous way. Therefore, he had put in his entire life to shaping the life of Alyosha as a priest. Therefore, he was told good stories related to religion. He was asked to do religious things, which will be philanthropist, okay, loving mankind. So anything related to earth or mankind they are doing, then it is appreciated. The fight of father and son had become intense, therefore Alyosha was called. Now father and his brother, they started fighting with each other, and therefore Alyosha, who is well-natured girl, she had to interrupt. After Fyodor Pavlovich makes a fool of himself by mocking the monks and telling vulgar stories. Now Fyodor criticized the monks. Okay, criticized the monks, and Alyosha, who is the son of Fyodor, he was called to stop the fight. It is, he was called because he is religious and he knows more about morality, more about religion, etc. Therefore, he was called to settle down the fight between father and Dmitri. Okay. After Fyodor Pavlovich makes a fool of himself by mocking the monks and telling vulgar stories. Now see, Fyodor, the father of Alyosha, is so bad, he is so ill-mannered person. He says that these monks are fake, and he starts telling vulgar stories about them, like monks used to be monks supposed to be very idealistic, but nowadays they get indulged into wrong practices, this and that. But the thing is that the one who is in the temple, alright, they are being respected because they are good, so that should be promoted rather than the monks who are negative in the society. Alright, but Fyodor got the chance to humiliate Alyosha, and he does not leave stone unturned to fulfill his desire of insulting Alyosha. Let's move ahead. It turns out that they have more to quarrel about than money. Now see, money is not the matter much in their fight. Okay, the fight's main topic is Grushenka. I told you Grushenka is a very beautiful young woman in the town, and father and son, both of them wanted to have Grushenka. Dmitri has left his fiancée, Katerina. See, the insincere act of Dmitri. Dmitri wanted to have Grushenka because he was in love with her. So he left his own fiancée, Katerina. Because of this, Katerina was so much hurt. Fyodor has promised to give Grushenka 3,000 rubles if she becomes his lover. Ruble is the currency of Russia. So Fyodor had bribed Grushenka. Okay. Therefore, Grushenka also wanted to have money of father and time and money and youth of son Dmitri as well. Therefore, she was in a neutral mode. Dmitri stole 3,000 rubles from Katerina in order to finance a lavish trip with Grushenka, and he is now desperate to pay the money back. Now see, Katerina was fiancée of Dmitri, and Dmitri does not like Katerina anymore because he is now in love with Grushenka and he wants to finance a trip. It means that he wants to go on a holiday with Grushenka for the enjoyment. Alright, for that he needs 3,000 rupees which he has stolen from Katerina. Such a shameless person is Dmitri. Alright, first of all, he is so disrespectful that Katerina was left without any care, love, even though she is fiancée. At the same time, he is interested in Grushenka. He knows that she is money-minded, but still he could not stop him from, indulging into love affair with Grushenka. As a father and son shout at each other at the monastery, the wise old Joshima unexpectedly kneels and bows his head to the ground at Dmitri's feet. Now here we find Joshima, excuse me, who was the teacher of Alyosha, alright, and through Joshima he was able to learn good things about religion. So when Alyosha could not convince father and son, Joshima appears unexpectedly, and we could see that Joshima had special powers through which he could see the future of Dmitri. He later explains to Alyosha that he could see Dmitri is destined to suffer greatly. Now, when duel was going on, Joshima touches the feet of Dmitri. Alright, he does it because he pities Dmitri, because a great trouble is going to fall upon Dmitri. Therefore, Joshima sympathizes with Dmitri, and he says this to Alyosha. Who is Alyosha? Dmitri's brother and Fyodor's son. Many years previously, Fyodor Pavlovich Karamazov fathered a fourth son with a retarded mute girl who lived in town as the village idiot. Now see, people are so mean. They always take the advantage of underprivileged and handicapped people. Alright, here in this area of Fyodor, there used to live a girl. Her name is not given, but she was mute. Okay, she could not speak, and she was mentally retarded. Alright, a kind of mad girl was there, and with this girl, Fyodor has one more son. Altogether 4 children Fyodor had, but it's so insensitive that he is not he doesn't want to be recognized as father of this mute girl's son. Okay, therefore he gives it to servant, and they nurture the 4th son, who was illegitimate son of Fyodor. Alright, so it shows that rich people, they discriminate downtrodden lower caste people, but when it is their pleasure of senses, they can be okay with a handicapped girl as well. So here we see the torture of society towards mute and idiotic girl. Okay, because of some reason she had become idiotic, in a sense she had become mentally retarded, and out of her madness, out of her illness, she used to roam around. She used to speak different various words which had no relevance to the situation, so they started calling her idiot. Alright, so Fyodor molested this girl as well. The girl died as she gave birth to the baby, who was taken in by servants of Fyodor Pavlovich and forced to work as a servant for him as well. See, Fyodor is so mean that he did not try to save this girl. She dies while delivering baby, and this baby is the 4th son of Fyodor. Now, that 4th baby was reared or nurtured by servants, and these servants had to take care of his 4th son in his house. Fyodor Pavlovich never treats the child Smerdyakov's. This is the 4th child, okay, the one who was born out of this mute girl. Okay, Smerdakov develops a strange and malicious personality. Now see, this is to show that when somebody goes against the nature or against the system, then something bad is going to happen to the people, and the repercussion, okay, the result of such things have to be experienced by everyone. So here Fyodor did the mistake, and Fyodor had to suffer out of Smerdakov. Alright, now and then he was humiliated for having illegitimate child, but that did not matter to him. Problem was to Smerdakov, because he was not bold enough to resist this humiliation from society. Okay, let's move ahead. Fyodor never treats him as a child, okay, even though he was his own blood. Smerdakov develops a strange malicious personality. It means that he was not like other normal child. Okay, he was very furious. Sometimes he is, into something, and he is not behaving normal. His viewpoint towards society is not clear, whether he loves society, whether he hates. Sometimes he becomes so agitated, sometimes he becomes so familiar. Alright, so he has a mixed emotion. This is also to show the mixture of society. Alright, if you do good to them, they will have good experience. If you do bad to them, they will have bad experience. So Smerdakov, he is born out of his lust. Okay, therefore we find that he has a very strange personality. Let's move ahead. He also suffers from epilepsy. He means Smerdakov. He suffers from epilepsy, and this means disorder or medical condition where person experiences blackouts. Okay, blackouts, and he does not remember what happens to that particular person at that point of time. Okay, despite the limitations of his upbringing, however, Smerdakov is not stupid. Now see, he was born by servants. Okay, his upbringing was also limited. It means that he was not provided with a lot of facilities. Somehow the servants tried to give him food and nurture him. Apart from that, he was not fortunate enough to have other facilities which other people get. He discusses philosophy with Ivan. Ivan is second child of Fyodor. First is Dmitri, then Ivan, and then comes the last one, that is Alyosha or Alexei. He discusses philosophy with Ivan. He frequently invokes many of Ivan's ideas, specifically that the soul is not immortal. Okay, so here what do we find is that Alyosha, he never missed a chance to teach people the goodness of religion. Let's move ahead, friends. He discusses philosophy with Ivan. He frequently invokes many of Ivan's ideas, specifically that the soul is not immortal. Now here we are talking about Alyosha and his brother Ivan, who were into a little bit of quarrel here in the monastery's topic. Okay, so what was the topic out there? The fight between father and son to be resolved. Now next, Alyosha counter questions, okay, that how soul is not immortal. Alyosha explains that it is only soul which is immortal, and rest of the things on the earth, all they die after a certain point of time. Therefore, soul is eternal, soul is immortal. So every time Alyosha and Ivan, his brother, used to be in quarrel frequently. After the humiliating scene in the monastery, the rest of Alyosha's day is only slightly less trying. After this topic, Alyosha and Ivan's had no other topic to fight. On the other hand, we find Dmitri, who sends Alyosha to break off Dmitri's engagement with Katerina. He himself does not want to stay with Katerina. Therefore, the engagement which was conducted between Katerina and Dmitri. He wants it should be dissolved. Alyosha then argues about religion with Ivan in front of a smirking Fyodor Pavlovich. Now, both of them were fighting, father and son, and in that point of time, Alyosha says that what is wrong and what is right. Okay, he is teaching his father that what he should do, and he is teaching his brother what he should follow. Therefore, there was a clash between these family members of Karamazov. Alyosha sees the fight between Dmitri and Fyodor Pavlovich over Grushenka. Alyosha understands that what is the topic. The topic is Grushenka, whom both father and son wanted to have in their life. Alyosha always finds way to help family. Now Alyosha, being religious and being very kind-hearted person, he wants to solve the issues of his family. Therefore, he was always there. The next day, Alyosha visits Katerina. Alyosha went to Katerina, who was Dmitri's fiancée. To his surprise, Ivan is with Katerina, and Alyosha immediately perceives that Ivan and Katerina are in love. Alyosha tries to convince them that they should act on their love for one another, but they are both too proud and cold to listen. Now, Alyosha wanted to solve this issue because Dmitri wanted Katerina to leave, alright, and Katerina and Ivan, they were in love. So if they will be together, then Dmitri's problem will be solved automatically. But they are so proud that they did not listen to Alyosha at all. Alyosha has dinner with Ivan, and Ivan explains to him the source of religious doubt. Now Ivan's being rational, he questions each and everything, and Alyosha tries to answer all his questions with the help of religion and the teachings that he has received from monastery. He says God that would allow such suffering, he says, does not love mankind. The question of Ivan is that human beings are all in problem, and therefore it's God who is the creator of all these problems. Therefore, the God is against humankind. He recites a poem he has written called The Grand Inquisitor, in which he accuses Christ of placing an intolerable burden upon humanity by guaranteeing that people have free will and ability to choose whether or not to believe in God. Now see, Evans has written a poem in which he had questioned the God, that why such sufferings, and it's God, that is especially Jesus Christ, who has applied over burden to humankind. If he would have wished, then this could have been lessened, but it is Christ who is creating hell lot of problem for humanity. Then how to believe that God is ours, God is of all humankind? So in his poetry, Ivan had written all these points. That evening, Alyosha again returns to the monastery where the frail Zoshima is on his deathbed. Now see, maybe Alyosha wanted to ask more questions to Zoshima. Therefore, when he returned to monastery, what do we see? He had a lot of questions, but suddenly he sees Zoshima, his teacher, on deathbed. He is about to die. Zoshima is about to die. Alyosha hurries to Zoshima's cell and arrives just in time to hear his final lesson, which emphasizes the importance of love and forgiveness in all human affairs. Zoshima dies stretching his arms out before him as though to embrace the world. Now Zoshima had something to convey to Alyosha, maybe because of that he was alive till then. So as soon as Alyosha arrives, he says his last words to him, and those were, love and forgiveness are more important things in this entire world. Because of these two, the entire world survives. If forgiveness and love is not there, then humankind will lose its value. So this was the last lesson of Zoshima to Alyosha, and then he dies. And while dying, he stretches his arms as if he wanted to engulf or embrace entire world. Many of the monks are optimistic that Joshima's death will be accompanied by a miracle, but no miracle takes place. Now Joshima, who was a very renowned teacher of religion, people used to think that because he is too much religious, God will save his body. The body of Joshima will not decay. And in his hope, they wanted something miraculous to happen to this soul and body. Okay, they wanted something extraordinary will happen, and because of which it will be an example for entire people that those who are religious, they will have such kind of death. But nothing happened, and that is to show that whether it is educated, whether it is uneducated, whether you believe in God, whether you don't believe in God, everybody's death is going to be similar. Whatever we have done in this life and in our prior life, we are going to get the result accordingly. If anything, Joshima's corpse begins to stink more quickly than might have been expected, which is taken by Joshima's critic to mean that he was corrupt and unreliable in life. Nothing as such happens. Now see, Joshima's body started stinking very soon, as it was not expected. People started talking about bad things about Joshima, that he used to show his good aspect in front of people, and in his heart he was a corrupt one. Because of this, his body started stinking very soon. And this is to show that people, they have freedom to speak, and what they will speak should not hamper anybody, because they will say hateful words which will hurt people, and we should not judge ourselves on the basis of their perception. We should have our own stand on different points. Dear friends, for today we are going to keep our class here only, and we will continue with this story in next video. Before I leave you all, I'd like to say that we have started with MCQ. Please go through the details and then message us if you are interested. Apart from this, we have free courses as well, and we are working on other offers, and we will keep on updating in due course. Please follow our channel and keep supporting us with love, care and suggestions. Thank you everyone. Have a good day.